Okay, so here we are. We're going to be having a look at, first of all, the wimp stance. Now, the wimp stance, the idea is to give the opponent or the person who's being aggressive towards you a image that you don't want to fight. Okay, in doing this, you immediately give the aggressor some sort of idea that they have the upper hand, they're more dominant, therefore it's going to be an easier job for them. All right? Now, the wimp stance itself is basically just putting your hands up with your fingers pointing towards the sky, not like this, okay? And you want to have a type of barrier. By this I mean you want to have a front hand and a rear hand, okay, in this fashion. All right? What happens is, if I'm standing with a right hand forward, this is my first line of defense, and my rear hand is the second line of defense, okay? If I have my hands side to side like this, all right, what happens here is if an attack comes through, if I miss with this block, it'll hit me. If I have a front hand to try and deflect and then a rear hand to deflect, I've got two chances of blocking. So it's this type of thing. I don't want to have my arms out wide, okay? I want to invite the attack through the middle here so I can deal with it, but I don't want to have them too wide or I won't be able to get there quick enough. So, don't think that the guy's just put a, gun in your back and you've got to put your hands out here where you can see them. He's in front of you. You just want to give him the image that you don't want any trouble. If I was preferring to, or caught standing with my left foot forward, what I'll have here now is my left hand matching that. If I put my opposite hand forward, I start to twist up. I don't want to be twisted up this way. I want to be comfortable. Okay, so the idea is to alleviate this, all right? Now, in doing this, whichever lead you have forward, it's very similar to a boxing stance, similar to a fighting stance. Your hands are up, okay? If I make a fist, immediately this changes the whole, atmosphere of the situation. What I'm doing now is I'm telling the attacker that I'm prepared to fight, and I've got my fists up, and if you harass me, I'm going to go for it, all right? This will make him more aggressive and more determined to be successful in whatever assault he's got happening, all right? So you want to give him this neutral image, all right? The other good thing about it is that if you're minding your own business and, you just happily, doing whatever you're doing in a park, going for a walk and someone confronts you, all right, by doing this sort of business, it's a pretty natural reaction, all right? In doing this, it's going to act as a trigger. You'll think, Walksafe, the tools and targets, which we'll look at, the principles, okay? If you're caught in a panic situation, your heartbeat goes up, adrenaline rush, all this stuff, and you're scared, if you remain sort of frozen, okay, not only are you open as a target, but you're panicked. You're in panic mode, okay? Nothing's happening, all right? By doing this is a trigger under pressure. Boom. Walksafe. Act in the according principles, all right? Now, I'll ask Cameron if he can give me a hand here. Cameron's going to play our friendly assault person. So, okay. If, for example, Cameron has, say, come up to me here, come over a bit, yeah, and he's just maybe just got his hand up and giving me some sort of aggressive posture, okay? I want to go into this sort of thing, all right? So by doing this, what he's seeing is, this guy doesn't want to fight, he's backing off and makes him pretty confident, all right? If I was to do this, he's going to change his attitude straight away, all right? So if he's, say we've got into a verbal confrontation of some kind, all right, and I think that he's starting to, become aggressive, okay? Now, in looking at this guy, if I look into his eyes, all right, he might have, I'm going to tear your head off type look in his eyes and can make me actually, quite weak with adrenaline. All right, so if you stare in between the eyes, all right, it looks like you're looking at his eyes and you're dealing with whatever he's got, but you're not actually looking into his eyes, okay? What's happening now is you're starting to use peripheral vision. My hands are up this way. Maybe if you just come around this way just a little. If in standing here like this, okay, I've got an opening here. If Cameron was to just slowly strike at me, he's going to come through the middle, all right? Now, in doing this, as he strikes, I can either use my front hand or I can use my rear hand to parry that, okay? The idea is that I'm still giving him this neutral attitude, okay? Now, I can make this work the other way around. If, say, he's got his fist up at me and, threatening, and I'm in this sort of posture for a second, you have to be blind not to know that's going to come at you, all right? I have to watch this, okay? So if I go to do something, he's going to come at me. I've told him we're going physical, all right? So if he's in that posture, if I'm saying I don't want any trouble, bang, and I hit him as well as moving his hand away, okay, I'm taking him by surprise, all right? Now, I don't want to tell him I want to take action, all right? I can use the aid of a verbal distraction, in fact. Say, for example, he asked me for my money. All right, I haven't got a wallet. It's in my shoe. It's in my shoe. Bang. I want to tell him somehow that I've got money and not immediately access, or he wants money and he's in this position. I can say, mate, it's in my pocket. Take it. As he looks at my pocket, I can hit him. Okay. If I say, don't hurt me, don't hurt me. You've got it. You've got it. Bang. I can hit him while he's registering the fact that he's got my money and he hasn't got a fight. All right. So yeah. Using the element of surprise, of ambush, okay? The big difference if he walks up to me and harasses me and I go, oh, what's your problem, like this, okay? And if he comes up again and does this and I go like this, it's, a far different body language going on. So you've got the idea of body language, the idea of a verbal distraction, okay, to imply that you don't want to actually fight this out. Okay. We might have another way of looking at this. In fact, if he's just come up to me and he's come up like this, all right, he might not actually be aggressing, but he might just have his hands up as if to say, someone's in trouble up the road, can you come and give us help? And this guy's run into me, and, I don't want to just start hitting, okay? There are ways of justifying within yourself that, do I need to take action, etc. I might, though, when he comes towards me, put my hands up as a natural thing to do. People will do this, all right? So you want to catch in on this sort of natural reaction to some sort of aggression. They come within your space, so to speak, okay? Now, if we have, therefore, depth in our defense, so to speak, we have barriers that we can go through. First of all, it's body language, saying, I don't want to have any trouble here, I've got a wimp stance, okay? I also have the way of looking in between his eyes, so I can actually see what's going on here. I notice any movement with my hands up, of peripheral movement, okay? If I decide that I need to defend myself, I want to do it in a very surprising manner, and if he's up here, I want to move his hand as I hit him, okay, and we'll look at the tools and targets. I don't want to just tell him I'm going to hit him and then try something, okay? So there's a few more ways of justifying within yourself that you need to strike, okay? We're going to look at them now in this following section. Okay, so we've looked at the wimp stance itself, but we need to look about justifying within ourselves about striking first. In self-defense, you don't need to be beaten up before you can defend yourself. If there's certain situations going on and you're, certainly in a trap position, you can defend yourself before receiving punishment, so to speak. Now, there's a physical way and a mental way, basically, of justifying within yourself that you're at a danger point. Now, the physical way of checking this is basically looking at your aggressor and taking their height into consideration. It's a simple means. If there's more than one person, look at the tallest person. Okay, they're the ones with the longest reach. Okay, therefore being able to reach you. Now, to explain this, mate, if you can just stand up here a little. Okay, I want to take Cameron's height into consideration here. I'd have to be standing back here, okay, in this sort of manner if you were to step forward and jab, okay. He can't reach me without actually moving forwards, all right. But if I'm standing within his height, okay, on the ground here, he can reach me, bang, no problem in reaching, all right. It doesn't matter, how high the person is. It applies to their particular height, all right. So you can try this out. Try it with your friends, all right. Just ask them to stand there. Imagine their height on the ground, all right, and just think, all right, try and reach me, and can't reach, You can't reach with a side kick. Side kick's the longest weapon you've got with your legs, all right? So it's a simple way of just justifying within yourself that, physically speaking, he can't get you without moving towards you, all right? Now, then we come to a mental checklist, okay? This checklist goes on in nanoseconds, basically, when it happens, all right? It's the first three of these four things will happen at first basically immediately. What you're asking yourself is, does this person have acceptable social behaviour? Is their behaviour socially acceptable for what they're doing? If they're here harassing and doing this sort of business, not sociable. Okay. Are their demands reasonable? If he wants my money or something, that's not a reasonable demand, all right? He might want whatever he wants, okay? If you think they're not reasonable, all right. S, do I feel safe? Well, I don't feel safe. This guy's threatening me. He's not socially acceptable. His demands aren't reasonable. I'm not safe. And fourth, can I escape? Well, the door might be behind him and I have to go past him to get out to avoid this situation, all right? And so I can't escape. So I've got acceptable behaviour, reasonable demands, am I safe, and can I escape? If the answer is no to each of these four questions, and the first three will happen like that, and the fourth one, can I escape, all right? If the answer is no, you're justifying within yourself that you're in a position where you can defend yourself by striking first. Say we've been backed up against a car or something and I can't go anywhere. I've done all my wimp stand stuff. I don't want trouble, mate, and he's still like this. He's telling me he's going to hit me. I have to know. Say you're standing back over here, right? And we're in a confrontation of some kind, and I assume a wimp stance, all right? Now, if you stay there, all right, and I back off and say I don't want trouble, by him staying there, he's told me that he's really not after trouble either, maybe. He's more verbal, more talk than action. But if he is here and this time he follows me and I'm going, I don't want trouble, and he's still here, it's body language again. He's telling you that he's serious. He's following you. Look, I'm going to take you out. So again, therefore, you're combining, first I want this distance with a physical height check, have I got distance here? If he starts walking towards me, he's telling me that he wants trouble. If I back off and he chases me, he's certainly telling me he wants trouble, all right? Okay, this will all happen quick, and you think, gee, there's so many things to remember. But really, it's very easy. All you want to do is look at the person and just be neutral, okay? Depending on the dialogue, if there's no dialogue and he comes at you, you're straight into self-defense, of course. But if there's a pre-fight situation where there's a bit of macho going on for whatever the reason, you have to consider things like he might be on his own in a hotel and I'm on my own and I've spilled his beer over him and he's not happy about it, but he doesn't really want full-on trouble, all right? So he's happy, for the apology, and I buy him a beer and maybe we go and bet on a horse race or something. He might have a bunch of mates from work sitting with him at the pub. Maybe the girlfriends are there as well, okay, and I've done this beer spill on him. And because of the peer pressure and the imagery, he thinks he's got to stand up and flatten me. In himself, he might not be thinking this, but because of everyone around. I've got to notice this. I've got to think, gee, this guy's got a table full of mates, all right? He's got up, he's bigger than me, I've spilled a drink on him. Whoa, it's going to go like this. I'm not going to be the big tough guy and take on a table full of people. So there's times when you want to apply this. Now, this gives the aggressor a chance to get out of the situation. I might back up and he's got a table of mates behind him and girlfriends and stuff, right? He stands up, I make him look good. Mate, don't hurt me, you're going to beat me up. He turns around to his mates and says, beauty. All right, he's thinking maybe I'm looking at this guy, staring at his nose and stuff, thinking I'm going to tear your head off, and he thinks, oh no, I've stood up for the wrong guy. And he's got all his mates there, but he wants to look good, situations happen like that, okay? So you want to give him a way out. Look, don't hurt me, mate, I'll buy you a jug. Here's a jug for you and your boys, really sorry, he thinks, no problem, that's sweet, I can get out of this, there's no heavy drama on this, all right? So, at the same time, I'm still in a position to defend myself. If he does, go physical, all this backing off and all this sort of stuff comes into it. All right? So, body language is quite a thing to note here. All right? The body language is absolutely critical. All right? Verbal distractions to assist in striking. If we go physical, all right, and in the next section we are going to look at the actual tools that we're going to strike with, but if it does go physical, we've looked at already trying to, move the punch and hit him at the same time to make it a sort of surprise attack, okay? I want to keep it simple, all right? I want to be able to distract him maybe. Say if I bang, I've hit him, I might push him and run. I might be able to get out a door and down some stairs and out of there while he's falling over a chair or something, okay? So we haven't really had a fight. All that's happened is there's a confrontation of some kind, bang, bang, push, and get out of there. All right, so it's just enough to escape. All right, you don't know who you're going to come up against. You might come home and there's a burglar in your house, and it goes from a robbery into an assault, into a severe, situation of any kind. All right, so the idea is to keep it simple and escape. Okay, this acronym of acceptable behaviour, acceptable social behaviour, reasonable demands, am I safe, can I escape, right? A-R-S-E, ASK principle, okay? Acceptable, reasonable, safe, escape. If the answer's no, boom, all right, you're into them, okay? This is your mental checklist. So it's a matter of just thinking, remember the ASK principle, remember their height as the physical checklist, all right? Between these two manners, I can back off and try and create dialogue, see if he's in a heavy situation, give him a chance to back off if he really doesn't want to fight, okay? So it's critical to have a good think about some good one-line distractions you can use. It's not that easy, okay? Okay, so we're going to look at the tools now. Hang on, shit. All right, so we're going to look at the tools now. First of all, I'm just going to briefly mention what they are. We have 10 tools. Now, a tool as in, for example, a hammer can be used in various ways. With a hammer, you can knock in nails. You can turn it around and pull out nails with the claw part. You can align the timber for lining up wood with the handle of the hammer itself. If we think of our hands as tools and the rest of our body as tools in various ways, we get weapons that we all have, okay? First of all, on the hands, we have one particular thing called an open rigid hand. Now, assuming that you're drinking water out of a tap and you cup your hands, you form this sort of shape. The thumb comes down to the first knuckle on here and creates this sort of image this way, all right? Now, this tool, this open, rigid hand, it's not loose and it's not closed, is used 3 different ways. We use it as the spear fingers. Therefore, the reason for having your fingers down, you don't want them up here. Okay, we have a cup palm hitting the ear, bang, or 2, okay? And we also use the edge of the hand for a knife hand. Might be this way and strike out, bang, okay? Quick little shot in there, all right? Rather than telegraphing it around this way. Boom. Okay, we get the palm of the hand, the palm heel, hitting with this part of the hand here. We get the hammer fist, again, with the soft part, as in the open rigid hand. All right, we get the claw. Grabbing hand, we call it. It can grab, it can claw. We use the elbows, okay? Elbow strikes are very powerful, all right? From the elbows, you can move into head, the headbutt, everyone's favorite. I haven't seen anyone not cringe at a headbutt, or at least smile. You use the higher part of the head, various directions, okay? When we're moving down the body, you're getting into leg strikes as well, okay? Now for the knee, okay? We could move into a knee attack. Of course, the range comes into it, but you're just using your knee very strong, okay? From the knee, you can kick and get a front kick, either coming up or pushing out, all right? Kicking out this way. You can also get a side kick if the person's on the side, hitting down to the side of them, all right? Or in this way, hitting through, hitting down. Behind you, if they got you from behind, you might stomp, kick back, okay? The stomp kick, kicking back into the shins, all right? Now, just to explain a bit about these tools, how you have your hand and various particular attributes to look at, what you find with the open rigid hand, for example, when you're coming into the hand strike here, if the fingers are flat like this, all right, and you jab in to either part of the body or the throat, or if you're going for maybe an eye shot, if you miss and hit some hard head, these fingers are going to bend back. And everyone knows what it's like to bend your fingers back. It really hurts, okay? So by putting your thumb against this knuckle here, all right, at least on contact, they're going to fall in, all right, if they hit a hard target area, okay? You want this sort of thing. You don't want them to come up. You want them to hit in, all right? Now, that's with the spear fingers. It's rigid with the thumb pushing against that knuckle, all right? Not this. This same shape, okay? You get this vacuum cupping sound, If you do this to your ears, you feel this sort of vacuum coming in and out of air, all right? Now, in this sort of strike, you'd be striking to the head. It's like a slap. How did you hit them? Well, I slapped them across the head. Didn't punch them, just slapped them. You could slap into other areas of the body as well. It's very powerful, okay? What you get also out of this is that you're protecting your knuckles. You're not striking with a fist, all right? You're actually hitting with the harder part of the hand there, protecting the back of the knuckles, okay? With the edge of the hand here on the blade, all right, when you're doing a backhand into them, you might be standing or sitting or whatever, and just launch this shot straight out. Just hit them. You might decide to scratch your neck, whack, and hit them, okay? You don't want to, tell them that you're coming up with a shot, okay? With this wimp stance stuff here, you want to just bang, jab straight in from this sort of front and rear hand, whoa, straight in, boom. So with the wimp stance being up high like this, your hands are up ready to strike, okay? The palm heel. Palm heel is much better than a punch because it's soft yet strong in reinforcement. Your wrist isn't liable to bend, okay, and break if you've hit any punching bags, okay, or anything like that. Maybe you've felt sometimes if your wrist isn't locked out properly that it'll bend. It can actually break or sprain, all right? Hitting from here, you've got no room for any movement. Boom, straight in, very powerful, okay? Hitting into the head, you're not going to break bones, okay? Small bones break against big bones, all right? Ideal from the wimp stance, boom, straight into him, bang, couple at a time, not telegraph, just whack, straight out. The hammer fist, same idea again. It's using this part of the fist instead of using the knuckles. By hitting here, okay, it's a thump, all right? Just quite natural, whack, it's a club, okay? Apart from this, the palm heel, okay, they're very strong that way. The blade of the hand that way, all right? The spear fingers, this. The grabbing hand or the claw, all right? Now this can be used for controlling, for grabbing the throat, for grabbing hair, all right? Grabbing eyes, okay? The digits on your fingers can rake the eyes. You might palm and then rake, okay? This is great that way. It's very versatile. Excuse me. What we move on to there, coming up to the elbows. When you're going to elbow, you want to turn the palm of your hand as your elbow, okay? Don't bring it around this way, all right? What happens is there's cavities between the bones. You can feel on yourself there. There's a lot of little sensitive positions where you can hurt yourself. By turning around your hand more, you're just hitting with the point of the bone first, okay? It's going to be better than hitting with the top part here, all right? The good thing about it is you just think you're going past your ear. Boom. It raises the elbow, nice and tight. Bang. If you're going to elbow vertically, you can just point your fingers down your back. This fashion. Boom. That's the ear. Okay? The elbows. With the headbutt, you want to use the hairline, okay? The hairline is the hardest part of the head. Think of four corners. Glancing blows, okay? Across this way, all right? Hitting back, hitting to the side, all right? Don't use the front part of the forehead, okay? Now with the knees, you can equate the knees to the elbows. When we're bringing in knee strikes, when we hit with our elbow here, we're hitting on the flat part. With our knees, we're hitting on this part here, okay? We're coming up. Usually if the person's bent over, the knee might come up, all right? It's a close range shot, boom. If you're using a front kick, it's more keeping them away, or you might have pushed them and kicked them away as you run. Pushing them out this way, maybe they've staggered and you kick up. And the side kick, okay, again, if they're on the side of you, you might have moved in fight, boom, and just kick. Keep them low, okay? We'll look at where we actually strike these tools against the targets, okay, including the stomp from being held behind. Thanks. Jim, stop. Okay, we've looked at the tools, we're going to look at the target areas. First of all, I'll just briefly describe where the target areas are with Cameron's assistance. We have them in three categories. We have primary target areas. With the primary targets, the eyes, the throat, the groin, okay, three primary targets. We get into secondary target areas. the ears, okay, the neck as opposed to the throat, all right, the jaw, the tip of the jaw, and the hinge of the jaw. We'll get into detail soon, okay. The nose is a great target on everyone, of course, okay. Then we get the limbs. We have the upper limbs consisting of muscle groups which you can grab, you can strike, all right. You have the muscle groups, upper and lower, of course, and you have joints. Joints you either hyperextend against, their natural movement, or hyperextend it all the way through so it takes it too far. Take them too far or bend them in the wrong direction, okay. Then we get the body itself. We have the lower abdomen, all right, from the belly button down to the groin. That area there on the body is more for mechanics in body movement rather than for strength. A lot of boxers don't hit below the belt, okay? Different muscle set, all right? And then we get the lower limbs. And the lower limbs are treated the same way as the upper limbs, consisting of muscle groups and joints, okay? Now, in application, all right, these primary and secondary targets are the ones that you're going to be coming up against most of all, okay? That's why they're the primary and secondary, the 10 of them. The eyes, the throat, the groin, the primary, the ears, the nose, the neck, the jaw, the muscle groups of the upper limbs, the lower abs, the muscle groups and joints of the lower limbs as well, all right? If your opponent happens to be bashed in the stomach and bends over, he gives me the base of his skull, all right? So if we just spin Cameron around a bit, we've got the base of the skull here, okay? The spine itself all the way through, and the kidneys either side, okay? The reason being that the tertiary targets are there because they are, really secondary in the way that you're going to be fighting the guy from front on most of the time. I might get knocked, and that exposes, some sort of shot from behind. Okay, so it's good to have targets on the back of the body. All right. Now, just in application of a few things with the wimp stance and the ASK principle we looked at earlier have all been taken into account, and we're going to go physical and have to defend ourselves. All right. From this sort of posture here, in fact, even if before we go aggro, if take a right leg for example, I might shoot in here with a finger jab to the eyes. All right. But he might move and I hit him in the head. Okay. That's a very narrow target. Okay, the spear finger. So what I might do is go for a palm and then rake the eyes. I've got more chance of these digits catching an eye. Okay, rather than going for pinpoint accuracy. Okay, so I can combine the shots. I've got, I've got a palm and a rake. All right, now that's going to probably be reacted to that, and then a rake, you pull away. All right, I might grab that head there and slam in an elbow. I might think, oh, geez, I'm going to hit him in the head. Not such good. Bang, put in a knee instead. All right, so it does depend on how the opponent reacts to your strike as to what you can do next. All right, combinations have to be considered. If Cameron's got my hands and I can't use my hands, all right, he's taken out all the hand weapons, okay, the elbows as well are gone, headbutt is too far away, the knee's too far away, all right, I have to resort to feet. Now, because he's in front of me, I use my front kicks. Whether I kick up into the groin or kick into here, okay, onto his leg, or kick him in the shins, they're all legitimate targets, all right, shins you get a good reaction. I can stomp onto his foot. I might think he's struggling and go bang, or shin rake down onto the foot. This, if I slam onto here or kick him in the shin, will make it easier to get a hand free and then go for more attacks, okay? So if I get caught up with some weapons, there's always other weapons available. I'm thinking, well, fantastic. He's got this restricted here and I can't attack his upper targets, but I can attack his lower limbs, his muscle groups and joints, whether I attack his joints with my foot or knee into his thigh, okay? Any sort of thing like this to get a distraction or reaction, all right? Always something available. For example, he had me in a bear hug from behind, and I'm caught this way, all right? From here, I might headbutt, if we move around a little bit, I might headbutt back, smash into him here, using the side of my head, bang, bang, give him a couple. An elbow comes through here, all right? Maybe a hammer fist into the groin, or a knife hand, bang, from the open rigid hand. Okay, from this I should be able to get at least free, push him, and take off. Okay, the aim of the game is to escape, to keep it simple. All right, you don't want to stand there and start kicking and jumping on him and hitting away, because he might grab you and pull you down and end up actually being the victor in this confrontation. Now, at the same time, if he's aggressive and I've got to this point and say he's threatening with the fists, all right, I might have bang into here. I might hit the nose. The element of surprise, this is important. If he's threatening, oh, don't hurt me, and hit him, okay, I have to get this first shot in. When the first shot goes in, it's got to be bang. It's got to be a ripper. It's got to really take him. Okay, there's no point. This guy comes up and he's aggressive. I'm going, oh, don't hurt me and just do this. He's just going to flatten me. Yeah. So, if you're going to take action, you must take action, in a big way. All right. In confrontations this way, for combinations, I might palm him through here, okay? If he goes back, in with a knee, all right? Okay, for example, I hit him with a palm and his head goes back, I can grab onto him, come in with a knee, all right? From this sort of situation, I might grab his head and put in a headbutt. I'm saying the opportunity is there from where he ends up, bang, to grab this and boom, hit in. I might come in with an elbow strike, all right? It just depends on what goes down as to how you're going to react, okay? Now, at the same time, in height considerations, we're just talking about this headbutt. If we're in this close vicinity range where headbutts can be used, all right, yeah. If for the taller guy to headbutt the smaller guy, it's much more threatening. All I need to do is react like, oh, and cover up, and that jams his timing, and he ends up hitting his forehead, all right, across the harder part of my head, okay? Far easier for the smaller guy, the shorter guy, to headbutt up into the big guy, bang, this way. It's just coming up underneath, all right, using this part of my head here, okay? Now, you might think, oh, I'm not going to use a headbutt, really. I'll just hit him and kick and stuff and run away. But you might find under pressure, you're caught, you're restrained, you need to headbutt, okay? So just being aware that these tools and targets exist is fine, okay? Just understand they're in existence, remember what they are, take the time to learn them, and you will feel safer. Okay. Hands up, bang, just... Okay, we're going to have a look at some wrist grabs and arm grabs to start with, all right? Now, what I want to show you about is keeping things simple, okay? There's a particular way of determining how to respond to a grab. You might be at an afternoon barbecue and someone grabs you on the wrist to look at your new watch after a few drinks. You don't want to turn around and punch them in the head, okay? Anyway, if you just want to get them off you, if Cameron's grabbed me on the wrist here, quite normal, and he's grabbed, okay? What's happening is it's on the same side as my body, all right? And being on the same side as my body, okay, I can do two things. I can twist my hand around so that the bone in the wrist here, the ulnar bone, okay, it's going to come through the webbing in his hand, all right? So that I get a twist and a pull back this way. So hang on a bit, okay? You're just pulling out, all right? If I just go to pull out on its own, okay, he's got a good grip there. You've got to twist it first and then lever it back, all right? If I grab Cameron, okay, he twists so it goes around into the opening and then pulls back and it's out. So if I grab him, exactly. Okay, you can try these out. They're quite simple. All right. If he grabs me again here, one other way I can go would be just to do a simple little small circle and push forward. All right. Now, what happens here, I don't need to do right up high. It'll still get it off. Okay, just to show you on this side. If you're strong, right, you resist, and I can't get my arm around, okay, I pull my elbow into my hip and then just roll it over. So he's got me. Just push. Okay, if he goes with it a bit, it gets to a point where he has to let go. Okay, so simply the two moves are twist and pull back, or a small circle and push forward. All right. These are just the techniques to get you off the wrist grabs themselves. Okay. Now, if, for example, he's grabbed me across the body with the other hand, sorry, yeah. Okay, now this is across the body, all right? What I'm doing here is, just move around a little. Oh yeah, just moving. What I'm doing here is, again, pulling this elbow in and making a small circle and pushing forward. If you don't Cameron's wrist and hand, because he's holding on, it goes with it. It starts to bend till it has to let go, okay? Quite simple. I can make this a little bit worse for him and hang on with this hand as I'm going up, and as I push, it puts him into a lock. All right, I can just roll over, goes this way. All right. Now, if the two, therefore, for the same side, across, bang, it's just a small circle, or to hang on to him and take him down with this as well. You could latch onto the wrist and take him down that way as well. When you're training this with friends, be careful, okay? It's quite easy to do damage to tendons as well as bones, okay? Always respect your partner. If he's got me there and I get to here and you tap when you feel a bit of pressure, okay? Well, you want to start tapping now even. Don't wait till you feel pain, you know? So you just feel that it's on and that's cool. He knows that I've got him, all right? Anyway, two hands, bang. Okay, pretty silly way to grab someone, really. Oh, oh. Kick, all right? That's, you know, this sort of thing. Mind you, if we're at a barbecue and he's my brother-in-law or something and he's drunk and I just want to get him off me, okay, I can either do the twist and pull back, I can do the small circles and get them off, I might do a small circle and pull back, okay? It's just a way of monitoring how to respond, all right? The environment's dictating how I respond, okay? If he's grabbed me and we're in a back lane in the streets at midnight somewhere or other and it's not a good situation, as I do my small circle, I'll probably come in with a palm and hit him and try and flatten him and get away as quickly as I can. All right? If we're at a barbecue on a Sunday afternoon and he grabs me here on the wrist, you know, he's mucking around or certainly not looking for the same violence as a street confrontation, I can use this, okay, and just alleviate that problem then. All right? So your environment's a good way to dictate how do you respond, okay, to particular events this way, all right? If you're in a pub or in a street, it's more serious. If you're in a social situation, okay, it's less serious, all right? So therefore, if he's got two hands, I've got the small circles, okay? And if he's strong, elbows come in, and just push forward, and I can pull back as well, or combinations of the two. Now, if he has two hands on one, okay, this could be used in like a situation where he wants to either control me or break up a fight or take me into somewhere where I don't want to go, all right? Techniques for getting out, just simply, if you make a fist with this hand that's caught and come through the middle, you can just pull back this way. I don't want to pull back strength on strength because he'll hold me. I have to be explosive and rip out of that. Another way of doing that is to get a clapping hand, a handshake grip underneath, and just do a tiny circle and push forward out of it. The fact that he's got two arms onto me makes him much stronger than my one arm. Okay, I've got to assist and get two arms into this and use this way. Okay, so if I have this, if I wanted to, if I could get him by surprise and get one hand over, I can assist by pushing on here and pushing him away. I might, if that goes over to here, put in a strike and an elbow into him maybe, or a push here. Okay? So it's quite a good thing. It relies on the opponent hanging on to you, but that's what he's focused on. He's come up, he's grabbed me, I'm going, what are you doing? I can get him off to this position. I can follow up. Okay? Now, just to have a look at if you are grabbed from behind on the wrist this way. Oh, just on the wrist? Yep. And this sort of business, again, it's for control, okay? Really, you have to note, is he a long way away or is he in closer to you, okay? If he's a fair way away, you can try kicking back into the shins and all that stuff, all right? But you're better to go back towards him and get close, all right? And just shoot your arms out to the side, okay? As you do that, you hit back into him, bang, and get a hip bump onto him, all right? All it is, he's got me in this. If he's got me here, I want to move back in. You know, I could stand on him, I could headbutt, bang, and I'll just hip bump into him, all right? If he's already in close there and restraining or something, say he's got me on the arms more and he's trying to, control this way, okay, I can still get through here by shooting out. The fact is with grabs that they're holding on to you, all right? So just to rehash, when he grabs me on this one, just one hand, same side, he's got me, that's what he wants. I can use that to my advantage. If it's across the body, I can do the same thing. I might take him down or just get it off. If it's two hands, I can combine the two, small circle and pull back. If it's two hands on one, I make a hand, come underneath. All right? That's the concept of just being able to redirect their energy, get their limbs to bend, okay? So let's just a quick look at some of the grabs that we deal with. Okay, so we know that apart from being grabbed on the wrist or on the arm, that grabs can be held in different ways, like body grabs, all right? Now, we're going to have a look at a few various ways of being grabbed, okay? We're going to look at like headlocks and bear hugs and that type of thing, okay? Also, we're going to look at the concept of locking and in being grabbed as well. By that I mean, as we mentioned earlier, when you're attacking the muscle groups or joints in the upper limbs and lower limbs, specifically the joint attacks, you're either hyperextending or you're bending against their natural movement. And this is what we're going to be looking at here, how you can use an easy way of just being able to recognize the concept of a bent arm or a straight arm to apply what's necessary. All right? Now I'm going to ask Cameron if he can come in and give me a hand here, if he'd be so kind. And the first thing we're going to look at now is, first of all, we'll just start with a bear hug. Now, simply speaking, if grabbed from behind, here I've got my arms pinned, all right? Definite distinction. Now, in this situation, I'm restricted in my weapons. I can use my legs. I can use my head, okay? Now, first of all, if I'm trying to elbow in and hit this way, Cameron's behind me, okay? I can't actually get a shot through on him, all right? I want to be able to hit back with the head. Bang, give him a couple there, incorporating the legs, with a shin rake, a stomp onto his foot, okay? What I'm trying to do is shock his system by hitting him high, bang, and hit him low, okay? It's going to start to upset him. This will take away his strength for a second. This is the opportunity when you can move your body and make a line here to hit through with the elbow or the fist, all right? This is the difference. So having the arms pinned, basically it's restrictive. His motive might be to get me off someone I'm fighting or to be held so his friend can punch me. Okay, bang, bang, whack, and here I can then move into other strikes and follow up, all right? Now, the big difference is if my arms are free and he's grabbed me from behind, here, this is a definite advantage to myself, but apart from using a headbutt and a stomp and kicking back, I've got my hands. Now, rather than going for this and trying to get his hands off, okay, I should be attacking him. I should be going in here with fingers into the eyes, over here into the eyes, into the throat. I might be able to grab some hair. If I can't grab hair, if he's got short hair, keep hitting the face, keep stomping, keep hitting back, all right? Again, you have to get his system shocked so you can get these arms free to be able to turn around, push him and run if necessary. Now, they're the more common ways of being held in a bear hug, okay, from behind. And attract him. Now, what we're going to look at, being held from in front, okay? In this situation, he might sort of come in to, stop me advancing on someone and grab this way. And if he wraps me up, okay, and just, from a front type of bear hug, boom, in this is definitely stopping me from going forward, all right? He's not really fighting me in this situation. It's more of a restraint. He's trying to stop me in that. In this type of thing, again, I'm restricted. If he's got me here, I have to use knees now and feet and stomps. I might not be able to get a headbutt because he's gone off to the side of me and holding on tight. If he's crazy enough to get me arms free this way, well then, bang, bang, and you're into his head and, cut palm to the ears and lots of, targets available on the body all around, the neck, the jaw, all this vicinity, all right? So bear hugs can be treated as a restrictive type of hold. Now, if he's getting more sort of violent, okay, and gets me in type, like a headlock, for example, usual motive for a headlock is he's going to punch me. So this comes flying in, okay? Now what I've got to do is I've got to be able to stop this hand here and control this. This is controlling me. So as soon as he puts the headlock on me, he goes to punch, I have to get this arm out here, and I have to also put this hand up here to actually defend in case it comes through. So as you go to punch me from there, this is locked, all right? So as he's got this headlock on, he punches, this jams, okay? This hand grabs this wrist. As I pull it away, I stand up, okay? And this releases me from the headlock hold. So he's got me here, bang, into this, bang, and up. From here, I can either push or attack. The point is that it's got me out of the actual headlock. Now, you can keep it in a technique that way. The other version of getting out of a headlock would be sudden strikes. If he's got me here, I could go to hit him in the groin, I could strike. I could try and strike onto the knee and repeatedly punch. But while I'm doing this, he's punching me. Okay, if he punches, I've gone. I have to defend myself when he punches and check this out, get off it, and do something. Okay? If he's got me in a full Nelson, coming up from behind with his hands into here. Now this, okay, is again a controlling move, especially for his friend to come along and punch me, okay? Now what I want to do, if we just move around a little, is I want to reinforce my head. If he's pushing this forward, it's a big lock, okay? If I'm able to put my hands like this, one on top of the other, put them on my forehead and push against him, he put on the lock, and he puts on pressure, I'm standing up as straight as I can, okay? I've got this sort of thing, all right? This allows me still to use my feet, kick back, hip bump, okay? Try and use other parts of my body, okay, so he can't get this on. If we move around, just to this side, if he has got me here, and say he's got me bent, and I can't get back up again, okay? What I do here is I drop to one knee, and I pull my arms in and hold them together. From this, I get this type of thing. What's going to happen is, if we just go front on the camera, I want his head to hit the ground. As I pull in here, I've already bent, I drop, this type of thing. The fact that I've got his arms clenched can't stop himself from hitting his head first, okay? Now, just one more we're going to look at, and this will be a good example for the idea of the bent arm and the straight arm principles, all right, is the hammerlock. Now, hammerlock, he has my arm bent up against here. It's a big lock on the shoulder. It's a common lock in restraints, all right? What happens here is I have my arm bent, and I cannot unbend it. I've got to unwind my body. So I've got to twist and pull away. This causes my arm to twist and straighten. From here, I lean over. This gets it a bit straighter, and I twist. Okay? Now, as I do that, I could, depending on the environment that I'm in and the level of response I want, I could simply just get away and just push off, something like that. Or I might take him this way and actually strike as I come through with whatever type of tool I want to use there. So again, the environment, if it's a backyard barbecue and someone's come up and, you know, got you in some sort of lock, you might be mucking around and just, you know, and you just want to get out of it simply. But again, if you're in the back streets or in a hostile environment, you might need to actually strike on your way out. Okay, that's just a bit of a look at the concept of locking. Okay, when dealing with chokes, you have to take deadly seriously, all right, because your life is threatened, okay? You're looking at having your air passage cut off, all right? The difference between the throat and the neck basically is the throat is the passage for the air, okay, whereas the neck is holding bones, muscles, blood supply, nerves. It's holding up the head. It's muscle groups, okay? The neck, okay, is different to the throat. That's why we distinguish in the primary targets eyes, throat, groin, and in the secondary targets the neck is part of that. Now, when you're looking at being choked, okay, and the airway going off, of course you see lips go blue and loss of consciousness and all this stuff happens, okay? It's a full-on serious situation. You can also have your throat crushed in order to cause, you know, the air not traveling through. So a blow to the throat or the larynx can cause death as well. When you're training, when you're mucking around with friends, anything to do with the throat, take it carefully, okay? the first thing that you should do is turn your head to the side, okay, and I'll demonstrate this and explain the difference of that, allowing the air to get through, okay. Now, the shock value that you have when you're being choked, it's an overwhelming effect. Panic comes into it. The first thing to try and think about is getting these hands or hand or whatever off your throat, okay? And we're going to look at how you actually deal with this. And the best way to get this off your throat may not necessarily be to go straight to the source, but to attack elsewhere, okay? Now, I'll ask Cameron if he'd give me a hand here. What we're going to look at, first of all, is just simply a one-handed choke from in front. And if Cameron's got his hand on here, okay, the first thing doing in turning my head to the side, I want to get air in my throat. Now, if we actually swap places for a sec, what I'm going to do here is just a little thing. If you want to just have a bit of a closer look here, I'm going to get Cameron to choke me when I tell him to, okay, and I'm going to count down from 10 to 0. And as I count down, the sound in my voice hopefully will change as I get air going through, okay? This is to show how you can still get a gasp of air when necessary, okay? Right. Okay, so when Cameron puts on the pressure, I'm going to count down from 10 to 0, and I want you to listen to the sound in the voice, okay? So in fact, choke with two hands, Cameron. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ooh. Okay, that was a joke, believe me. Okay, just the sound in depth, all right? I'm not going to keep doing this because I know it works. If you want to practice this with someone, be really careful. Gradually put it on, okay, and just cooperate totally, okay? So there you get your first gasp of air. If we go back to the idea where he's choking me with one hand, rather than going through all this and trying to fight and panic, which I'll be doing knowing I'm being choked, it allows him to focus on this and he can hit me and kick me and do other stuff, all right? What I'm better off doing, I'm turning my head, I still know he's in front of me, okay? He's got longer arms, it doesn't matter. I use spear fingers. This is longer than this or this. I go straight in for his throat, okay, and he'll back out of there. I'm going for the joint in between the collarbone here and just pushing in or pushing up, depending on that. As he comes in, bang, straight into here, okay? If I can't reach for some reason, I can bring him towards me by holding on to this hand, okay, for balance basically, and I use my forearm and come down into the crook of his elbow. That brings his head forward, in which case I strike back at him with a hammer fist into the jaw. So he's got a long arm. I can't reach him, can't get in here. Bang, bang, okay? This will take his attention away from the strength he has in his hand, all right? If he has two hands on me, this is good for me for a second. I still have to turn my head to the side, but now I've got the ability to be able to turn one way and get more extension with my arm. Even if he's got longer arms, I can push into here and he will get off that way, okay? If he's got the hands on, you could hit into his throat, bang, as you push him away, all right? This will certainly get him off. I'm not going for the hands here and going, oh, no, I'm getting choked, and then soon I'll be unconscious, all right? If he hits me in the stomach with a knee, then, oh, I'm really choking, bang, okay? I've got to get him off, all right? This is the thing. Now, if he has got me here, and he's got two hands on, I can use another system apart from this, okay? And that's by shooting my hand to the sky. In doing that, his thumb comes away from my throat, okay? Well, simply speaking, the shoulder joint is stronger than the thumb joint. Now, to get rid of this hand, I can pull down, okay, at the same time. See, the point being, when he's here, if you're just firm and strong, not choking too hard, but if I hit up and you resist this, you know, he's got symmetry and strength, or hitting down. But if you go one way, one up, one down, okay, it messes up with his muscle system, right? So he comes in here, that can be a strike as that comes up, and then a hammer fist again, bang, across the face, okay? If you wanted to use leverage, just for the principle that I'd just like to show you briefly, I can put one hand in and roll over this way and turn him off, okay? That's not too bad if you're doing that. I can come in here and turn him off and push him away and escape, okay? I think it's more practical sometimes when he's choking, bang, straight into his throat and get him off, okay? If he resists for a bit, put your fingers into his throat and push, and he will let go. All right. Now, they're the most common type of attacks with a choke. You can, just to cover it, get a one-handed choke from behind. If he's got a one-handed choke coming in from behind, it's very difficult to get a choke on this way. He has to really have that hand around my throat, which brings him in closer. Now he brings in his second hand. So if he does, just try that one-handed one first of all this way. Simple to just turn into him. Okay? All you want to do is have this arm on the outside of his arm. Just brush it away, all right? If he goes into two hands from behind, though, okay, here he may have more strength and I can't turn around as easily and, it's hurting and stuff like this, all right? What I want to use here, okay, is either striking into the liver, okay, which is on the right side, a hammer fist, boom into here. The idea being that he's got his arm up. It allows me a target area here. Whack. And it's a hard enough hit, even if it lands with your forearm, is going to, take away his strength and turn it into a one-handed choke, all right? So it's very difficult, like he grabs from behind, bang, straight into him, all right? The idea being that you're using your hips to pull your body around, okay? It's a matter of getting these hands off you straight away through attacking the opponent, all right? I'm not trying to fight. If he's got me here and I'm fighting over his hands like this, I'm going to get choked. I strike him and then get off. If he's got two hands in front, bang into here and then deal with the problem. Get these off. Rather than trying to, break them off this way. Okay? Again, if it's one hand, okay, you can hit down on this and bring him towards you, or you can hit straight into the throat and get him off you. So we've had a look now at chokes with the hands and that type of thing, and as well as from behind, okay? Of course, you can be choked with parts of your clothing, with forearms, from behind, from in front, okay? You might be pinned on the ground. There are various situations which may escalate. The intent might be more passive, and then as the hostility becomes more pronounced, it gets into a choking situation, all right? So you never know how far it's going to get when it does happen, okay? The intent behind things. Now, what I mentioned about the throat and the neck, holding up the blood as opposed to the air passage, all right, you can get choked out off the nerves, off the jugular vein, the carotid artery here, especially carrying blood to the brain, all right. By cutting off the blood supply, you get a quicker result, okay, which is more dangerous if it's happening to you because you'll be unconscious quicker, all right, but it's far more effective in the attribute of actually having this choke using for you. If you're going for the air, they're going to be fighting for their life and going absolutely crazy about this, all right? Now, if Cameron comes in and decides to choke me here from behind, using his forearm around this sort of thing, okay, just a little bit off. I just want to be able to talk. Killer. So, what's happening now, I've got to use the same concept. I've got to turn my head to the side, preferably into the crook of the elbow. By getting it in here, okay, there's a slight gap. Okay, it allows my throat room to breathe. If I turn my head this way, he's actually choking into me like this, and I'll be unconscious really fast, okay? Now, what I've got to have here is turning my head into the side straight away. If he's got his other hand on the back of my head or something, okay, straight away I'm going to be in a serious situation, okay? I've got to be able to, put in distracting strikes, stomping, all the same sort of concepts as being grabbed from behind come into play. I can't headbutt, though, because he's got this checked with his hand here, okay? If this hand was away, my first, thought would be to try and smash back into his face with my head, all right? To hit him low, to hit him high, cause his, nervous system to be shocked. Bang, bang, bang. So what I want to get here is head into here, and I want to hang on to his hands. Now, if he's holding me up and pretty strong, and I hope we don't fall in the pond, what I want to do is twist it out of this in this sort of fashion. What happens is that it puts a lot of pressure on his shoulder, and when he's got me here, okay, okay, so what's going to happen here is we're going to cut. Okay, so when I'm being held this way, I can't headbutt back. All right, when I twist here, I want to use this strength. If you hang on strong, Cameron, all right, use my body weight to pull down. He's going to be really trying to choke here. Okay, if he puts strength on and tries to lift me up even, okay, I can use my body weight. The important thing is not to just drop down, okay, but actually to twist your hips. In twisting your hips, okay, start to twist his shoulder, comes around. Whether you want to put a hammerlock on as a counter-attack or not doesn't really matter. The thing I don't want to do is when he's choking me here, you got me on here, okay, I don't want to be trying to push this up. I don't want to be trying to fight over his hands. He's going to be too strong, okay. He's got his whole shoulder strength and lats and everything involved here. I've got to use body weight, all right, to spin out of this, okay. Now, the thing you got to watch is when you're choking here, and don't choke me full on, when I put my jaw towards the crook of his elbow, what's happening is, just down a bit here, his bicep and forearm are closing in, just relax, on my carotid artery, okay. Now, when I tell Cameron, I'm going to get him to flex the forearm and bicep, okay, and put pressure on, and I'll tap when I start to feel, any sort of effect. So if you put that up and just flex your muscles, you feel it straight away. Again, okay, it's certainly a different feeling. All right, getting this part here cut off as opposed to the air. If he's got this around here, now if I go to this and just slowly put pressure on my throat, put pressure on slow. Okay, here it's like a different feeling. All right, you're starting to get more of a panic situation. In this situation, you put it on, bang, okay, it really has an effect. Okay, so we're going to go to the ground now and look at the worst case scenario. If for some reason you've slipped to the ground, bumped yourself, or been punched or knocked over in some fashion, it's quite possible and quite a practical situation for the opponent to jump on you and want to choke you to death, all right? Things happen sometimes. So, if I hit the deck here, I've been punched to the ground. Cameron jumps on my chest here and puts on the choke, all right? In this situation here, yeah, you can pin, yeah. I've got to get, the pressure of the ground. This is a sandwich, that's coming in, all right? It has to be dealt with here. I can't just sort of fight and try and pull this off because he's got body weight on top of it, okay? In this sort of situation, I'm best to roll, trying to use my body a bit more. As that's coming in there, I can use that to check. If I roll this way, he can actually turn me onto my stomach, which is the worst thing. He can slam my head into the ground. I want to keep on the outside of him. If he's got a knee on my stomach here and this sort of thing, I can hip bump that up. It's just by lifting your hip. Say he's sitting on my chest, literally, all right? Oh, just sitting on my chest. Bang, sit on. And he's choking two hands, and there's this sort of thing, not real hard. Okay? In this situation, okay, he's got all his strength on top of me, okay? I can't go anywhere. He might be too tall, and I can't, he's taking these hits, all right? I've got to be able to actually move him, okay, and then strike, all right? So the concept is, if he's got you this way, or if he's got you this way, okay, it's still the same reactions. If he's just got a two-handed choke, if we're on the ground here, I can still lever in, push him off that way, all right? If he's got a two-handed choke, okay, I don't want to be going for this sort of stuff, all right? It might be hard to go one up, one down on the ground, so I'll use leverage. So it's the principle and the concepts involved in what type of choke's actually happening as to what's going to go on here, all right? So understand you have the air passage and you have the neck. They're two distinctly different areas to use, and understanding the idea of both of these will help you understand how to avoid choking.